Did you know there's a tale that's been making its rounds online? A modern-day mystery that feels like it was ripped straight from a scary movie script, but it happened right here in the USA. And the creepiest part? It's a story that many people still can't explain. This story takes us back to the early 2000s, to a quiet, unassuming suburban town in the American Midwest. Life there was predictable, peaceful, the kind of place where everyone knows their neighbors, kids play outside until the streetlights come on, and nothing truly bad ever seems to happen. That is, until the letters started arriving. Now imagine this. You live in your dream home, on a beautiful street in a town you love. You feel safe, secure. One day, you check your mailbox, and among the bills and junk mail, there's a typed letter with no return address. You open it, and the message inside makes your blood run cold. It says, "My grandfather watched this house in the 1920s, and my father watched in the 1960s. It is now my time." This wasn't a one-time prank. This was the beginning of a years-long ordeal for a family who just wanted to live their lives in peace. The letters kept coming, signed only by The Watcher, and the messages grew more and more specific, more and more personal. The Watcher claimed to be a guardian of the house, someone tasked with observing it. The letters would mention the family's children, calling them young blood. One letter asked, "Have they found what is in the walls yet?" It was psychological torment, delivered right to their front door. The family had 3 young kids, and the Watcher seemed to know their names, their habits, even what they were doing inside their own home. Think about how that would feel. You're in your house, the one place you're supposed to feel completely safe, and you realize someone is constantly observing you. You start questioning everything. Is someone looking through the windows? Are there cameras? Who could be doing this? Is it a neighbor? A stranger? The paranoia would be overwhelming. The family was, understandably, terrified. They went to the police, but the investigation hit one dead end after another. There was no physical evidence, no fingerprints, and no way to trace the letters back to a source. The Watcher was like a ghost, an invisible threat that haunted their every move. The police investigated neighbors, former residents, and anyone who might have a grudge, but they found nothing concrete. They even hired a private investigator and a former FBI agent to try and crack the case. They looked into the history of the house, trying to see if there was any truth to the Watcher's claims about their family watching the house for generations. But again, nothing. The story became a local legend, a chilling piece of neighborhood folklore that was all too real for the family living it. The letters mentioned details that were disturbingly accurate. For example, the Watcher would comment on renovations the family was doing, asking things like, "Why are you changing the house? Do you know what lies within the walls?" It was clear this person was close enough to see contractors coming and going, close enough to see the children playing in the yard. The psychological toll was immense. The family became prisoners in their own home. They were afraid to let their children play outside. Every creak of the floorboards, every shadow in the yard, became a potential sign of the Watcher. The dream home they had poured their life savings into had become a source of constant fear and anxiety. Eventually, they couldn't take it anymore. The dream had turned into a nightmare. They decided they had to sell the house and get away from the relentless, unseen eyes of the Watcher. But here's where the story takes another strange turn. When they put the house on the market, they had to disclose the existence of the letters to potential buyers. As you can imagine, not many people were eager to buy a house that came with its own personal stalker. The story went public, and it became a national sensation. News outlets across the country picked it up. Everyone had a theory. Was it a jealous neighbor who lost a bidding war for the house? Was it a disturbed former resident? Or was it something else entirely? Something even stranger? The mystery only deepened. The family even tried to sell the property to a developer who would tear the house down just to end the Watcher's reign. But the plan was rejected by the town. Years passed and the house was eventually sold. But the identity of the Watcher remains one of America's most chilling and unresolved modern mysteries. Who was this person who dedicated so much time and energy to terrorizing a family? What was their motive? Was the story of their family watching the house for generations a complete fabrication designed to instill fear? Or was there some twisted truth to it? The theories are endless. Some people believe it was one of the neighbors. There was even some DNA found on one of the envelopes, but when it was tested against several neighbors, no match was found. Others think the family might have fabricated the story themselves to get out of a house they could no longer afford, but the sheer emotional distress and financial loss they suffered make that seem unlikely. This story resonates with so many of us in the US because it attacks the very heart of the American dream, the idea of a safe and happy home. It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters aren't hiding in the woods or in old abandoned buildings. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, maybe even living right next door, watching and waiting. The anonymity of it all is what's truly frightening. In our connected world, the idea that someone can remain a complete ghost while knowing everything about you is a deeply unsettling thought. To this day, no one has been charged. The watchers simply vanished, or did they? Is the new family that lives in the house now receiving letters? Or has the watcher moved on, satisfied that they drove the previous family away? We may never know the answers, and that's what makes this true story so much scarier than any fictional horror movie. The monster was real, but their face was never revealed, leaving a permanent question mark hanging over that quiet suburban street. It's a chilling tale that serves as a stark reminder to always be aware of your surroundings, and that sometimes the most frightening things are the things we can't see. Thanks so much for watching and listening to this unsettling piece of American history. If you found this story as fascinating and creepy as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into mysteries and strange events. Stay safe out there.